Welcome, dear Okami fans, to the channel. Today I actually do have a small news update for you guys towards Okami 2. Yes, I know it has just been announced, but Kamiya just recently did an interview that I want to go over, where we got some new tidbits, small ones towards the development of Okami 2 and how they are basically planning to do things. And I do think you might want to know about that. So let's talk all about that in today's video. So sit back, relax, enjoy, take a beverage, and let's get on with this news. So Kamiya, as we all know, is back at Capcom, and he recently did one interview, as far as I'm seeing, after the Game Awards with Push Square. They are a PlayStation-centric websites, shall I say, that do news articles, stuff like that. And he talked a little bit about Okami 2 and how they want to prioritize the creativity to not be too corporate, shall I say, and even to keep investors at an arm's length. That's really what Kamiya himself is saying, so that is pretty interesting. By the way, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I might feature your comment in the next video. So I said I would cover the shit out of Okami 2, and I'm still going to do that. So I'm here basically to fulfill that promise. For any other like Okami news, if I can find that, I will cover that here on the channel, just because Okami is basically one of my favorite video games of all time. I already said that in the reaction video and in the retrospective video. By the way, check that retrospective video out on the channel. Still, like, we are days away now from the Game Awards, from that reveal, and I still can't really process all this stuff in my head, how Okami 2 is a real thing. And not just that, they are bringing back Clover Studio under the name Clovers, which is just awesome. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now at Platinum Games. Maybe I will include that as well at the end of the video. But let's get first towards the Okami information. So basically, Kamiya is saying here how he wants to keep investors at a far reach from the studio in order to focus on making the kind of unique and creative games that we are aiming for. We need to make sure that our investors cannot easily interfere in the company, Kamiya says. To this end, investors will supply funds on a per project basis, meaning they'll help finance individual games rather than the overall studio itself. That is actually a pretty normal thing in the gaming industry. Capcom will look on a project base which ones are worth funding, of course. So if someone comes with an idea for Resident Evil 9, I'm just saying something, then yeah, Capcom is going to listen, because that individual idea project for a potential Resident Evil 9 is very compelling. And they have done that now with Okami 2. Probably Kamiya himself probably came to Capcom, discussed that with Capcom, how he wants to make Okami 2, what the ideas are, what's new, what's different from the original game, what's going to be the budget, etc. And on that information, Capcom basically decides, yeah, we're going to fund this or not. This is a pretty standard thing to do in the gaming industry. Some studios do get just a kind of a not infinite budget, but a big budget to work with, especially if they tend to be first party under like a PlayStation or a Xbox. They tend to have a pool of money there and then really do their own thing, shall I say, with that money. But most of the time it does work like how Kamiya is saying here, with a project to project basis. Is it worth it to make it? Are we going to make money out of it? But as he is saying, he wants to be as creative as possible with no outside influences. So you can expect this game to be really what Kamiya wants, at least. And that is awesome to hear. They aren't going to make Okami 2 a extraction shooter. I'm just saying something really stupid, but just to say what a publisher would want, or like a live service game. You get what I mean. They aren't going to make probably Okami 2 a live service game. Kamiya is going to get his way. He wants it this way, and the publishers just need to give the money and stay out of it. And I think how he's able to do this is because I don't think he's going to ask too much, which is probably how Okami is going to get made as a probably what I think a AA budget instead of a AAA budget, and with a lower, shall I say, production entry for Capcom. They don't have to spend as much, but maybe they will get a lot still of revenue from it because there are now so many new Okami fans in general, and Okami is growing now kind of a little bit out of that cult classic status, and more fans are buying the remaster, stuff like that. I do think that selling that remaster really helped to fund for this idea for a Okami 2, shall I say. Kamiya also highlights the scope of the game he's aiming for with Clovers, which is targeting a employee headcount of around 70. Personally, I am not interested in making the kind of huge games that people generally refer to as AAA titles, he says. Okay, so I'm right with that assessment. Okami 2 might not be a full-fledged AAA game, but to be fair, I don't think it needs to be that. It really needs to be like that original game, just with really modern graphics, and Okami 2 can go very far. I don't think that's a bad thing at all that it's not AAA. And yeah, just a headcount of only 70 people, which is a pretty small team for a game studio nowadays. Most studios have around a 100 team base or even more than that, and 70 is pretty small. But the thing is, you know what the saying, I believe this is like an English saying, too many cooks in the kitchen gives disaster or something like that. Something like that. This is probably a good thing, and communication is key for making this game, that the whole team can communicate with Kamiya if something is wrong with designing the game, stuff like that. So I think that is a pretty good thing. Of course, such games are important, but I personally like to play games that show the creator's individuality. As a creator, I think it's fun to make games. Kamiya continues. What a statement, Kamiya. At least he still has a drive to make games. That's pretty important in my opinion. So it sounds like the plan is to keep the scale somewhat small, with a tight focus and minimal messing from external sources. Sounds good to us. The Okami sequel is probably going to take some time to appear, but we are excited to see this comeback, as is Kamiya, who says working with Capcom on the IP again is a joy that cannot be described in words. Oh, he is very happy apparently to be back at Capcom, and that must be kind of also a nostalgic thing. He sees old maybe employees again that worked at the old Clover. Not everyone, because I don't think he can get everyone back, but maybe a small portion at least from the old Clovers that are back again at this new Clover studio. So yeah, just nice to hear that he feels at least very good there. That only sounds, in my opinion, very promising. So he wants to have all the creative freedom for this Okami sequel, which is, in my opinion, very important. Right, Todd? Creative freedom is a important thing. Now please get on to Elder Scrolls 6. I beg of you. As I just said earlier in the video, a lot of weird stuff is going on at Platinum Games, and that is very sad in my opinion, because Platinum Games is one of my favorite studios. They have Bayonetta. Well, technically Nintendo owns Bayonetta, but they are the developers of Bayonetta, right? And they are the developers of Nier and Astral Chain, some very important kind of IPs to me. And all of a sudden, a lot of people are leaving now the studio, and Kamiya also touched a little bit on that because of the fact that he didn't really have creative freedom at Platinum Games anymore. And we know that there is a lot of change up in the, shall I say, head of Platinum Games at shall I say, the boss level, that they want to go towards more live service games, and of course a lot of the people working there didn't want that. A lot of very noteworthy people left Platinum Games. Metal Gear's Rising Kenji Saito, Astral Chain and Nier Automata's Takahisa Taura. By the way, Taura is a pretty important guy. And the wonderful 101's Masaki Yamanaka. And Bayonetta Origins director Abebe Tinari. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names, but I don't fluently speak Japanese, so sorry about that. But these are some very important people in Platinum Games. And the problem really that Platinum Games has is that they don't own these rights towards a lot of important games. They don't own the rights towards Bayonetta or Nier Automata or Astral Chain, right? Nier Automata is, I think, Square Enix, and Bayonetta and Astral Chain are from Nintendo. They own the IP. Platinum Games is basically this mercenary studio, basically, that works from game to game as kind of a licensing studio, right? They get the license and Nintendo or Square Enix is like, make this game for us. And they do a very good job at that, but they don't really own anything themselves, which is a big problem. And basically the boss of Platinum Games wants now his own games, which is understandable, but he wants to do live service stuff. And that's why a lot of these important creative people left Platinum Games, which is a very big problem for Platinum Games. And I do wonder if they can survive now. And I really want to know what this is going to mean for Bayonetta. I'm a big Bayonetta fan as well. We shall see. Pretty interesting stuff. If there is more dire news about Platinum Games, I will also update you guys on that. But yeah, if there are any updates towards Okami 2, I will cover them for you. Let's quickly do a comment of the day. Let's take a comment from the Okami reaction video, which is now 4K views. I did not expect that for a reaction video because I never do reaction videos at all, so that is awesome of you guys. I really love the Okami fan base. They are really just nice people in general, and I get the nicest comments from basically Okami fans. That is absolutely awesome. This is a comment from Blue-Eyed Beast 38. I've been talking Okami up to everyone I met for 18 years. Got so many people to play and fall in love. I have a few first four figures. Shiranui. Oh my god, my Japanese. Shiranui is my favorite though, and I literally never thought this day would come. I keep tearing up because Okami has remained one of my top 3 games ever for a long time. I am so excited. I am the same. I got literally a heart attack with that whole announcement. I should have filmed my actual live reaction, but I never really filmed that stuff with live streams. I wish I filmed that, but yeah, that's an absolutely great comment. If you want your own comment featured in this video, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like this video if you like it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more gaming news, leaks, rumors towards the biggest single player games. I usually do that. I also make essay videos and review videos from time to time, big ones with green screening, stuff like that. So don't forget to subscribe. Maybe check out my Okami Retrospective if you haven't done that. That one doesn't have green screening though, because it's a older video, but my newer essay videos all have green screening and a lot of editing behind them. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.